today's quick lesson. Just wanted to share a little activity I did as a final project for my flight unit. So I just recently finished a grade 6 flight unit, and instead of doing, that classic test and paper and, writing out the different properties and forces, I figured let's do a hands-on activity. This whole unit has been very hands-on. They've had chances to test planes, had chances to see properties of air by like submerging things in water, and so it's been really, really fun and exciting, and I wanted to keep that mentality and that activeness and hands-on activities all the way through. So basically, our final project was that students had to make a flying object out of paper to fly from one end of the classroom all the way to the other. Now, we're not just like throwing these objects. We're actually going to use something that's going to create more force and more of that push to give it a little bit of an extra push of oomph all the way to the other end and really have some power to it. So basically what this is, it's a rocket launcher or a paper plane launcher. So let's talk about how you make this. So I made mine with a piece of wood, and it's very simple to do. I have this big piece of wood, and as you can see, there are two sides to my launcher. Now you don't need to do both sides, but I thought it'd be a great idea to have, one group starting while the other group is preparing on the other side. And when they were doing and preparing their paper airplanes and flying objects, it gave them some time and some area for people to test both at both times. So let's take a closer look. So as you can see, these are some pretty tall screws. Now you can use screws or you can use nails. And you need the tall screws because you're going to wrap an elastic around the nails or the screws, just like this. And this part right here becomes your launching pad. It becomes that force that's going to pull it. Now how this works is you're going to put a paper clip at the end of the plane or anywhere where the students decide they want to put this paper clip, and that's going to hook onto these elastics and it's going to launch it. So let me take you through how to bend back the paper clip. What you're going to do is, I have some smaller paper clips today, but you can pick any size, and it's probably preferable to use a larger paper clip. And I just told the students to peel it back, just like this, and to peel it back one more time. Now, I encourage them to keep this hook because you need something that's going to hook onto that elastic. So basically, if we take this launcher, and I'm going to bend it up like this so you can see, and we hook our thing on just like this, you pull back with the paper clip, and you can launch it. So see how it was pretty forceful when it left? So it's very basic. So next, what they needed to do was they needed to make their plane. Very, very easy concept, you would think. But there's actually quite a few kids in my class that didn't know how to make a paper airplane. So what I would strongly encourage is that you have maybe some pamphlets or some worksheets and papers with some instructions on how to make planes. And I also gave my students the opportunity to use the iPads to do a little bit of research, maybe watch a few videos, maybe they could find online some instructions on planes. However, this is a very open project, and I wanted them to be the people who are creating. So they were in partners creating this plane together, and they all had to fill out their own information at the end, but they really got to use their ideas together and create these pretty awesome flying machines. So I already have today a plane that's pre-prepared, and it's just a basic fold, maybe a little bit different than normal. I also have already talked about this with the group because we had talked about paper airplanes, but you want to encourage them that when they're folding to really fold tight because that's going to close up some of the airs. I had some students take tape and taped it up. They also took a stapler and they stapled it up, and it worked really, really well. Basically what I provided my students was an assortment of elastics because they can change the elastics on their launcher. There's some looser ones and some tighter ones, and that can actually change the force of their plane. Next, I just gave them an assortment of different papers. So we had some long paper, I had cardstock, I had regular paper, and I had some straws and just some sticks, and that was basically all the materials that I gave them, and I encouraged them if they wanted to bring some materials from home that they could. However, this is a total motorless project. They need to figure out how this is going to fly, with the force of their elastic and the forces in the air in the classroom. So basically, now that you have your paper airplane all figured out and we have our launcher figured out, we need to figure out how we're going to actually put our paper clip onto our airplane. So I'm going to just show you right here on this plane I've already created. I have that fold, I have that hook, and what you can do is you can give them a hole punch and tell them that they need to hole punch somewhere near the bottom, and they need to be able to make the nose of the plane their paper clip, because that's where they're going to pull. And if they're not going to use the nose of the plane, I had some students put it at the back. They just needed to be able to have the hook pull back that elastic and they could pull back their plane. So I had them tape it on, because what we found with some students when they were pulling, the paper was actually ripping with the force of the paper clip, or the paper clip was flying out and it wasn't staying into the plane, and then that was going off. So that can be some safety hazards that you need to watch. No one wants to get hit in the eye with the paper clip. So next what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly show you exactly how I launch it. So I hook it on to both ends of my elastic, but you don't have to, and you just pull it back, and basically you just let go, and there you are. Quick, easy airplane launcher. And then this was great. I gave them 3 turns at the end when they were completely done and had already tested it. So they had 3 chances in front of the entire class to see if they could get that airplane from one end to the other onto the counter. And then they had to just describe exactly what happened. So what kind of forces they were using. If it hit the ground, obviously the gravity's pulling it down. If it went really up to the sky, then there was a lot of lift. And it's just a great way for them to use that vocabulary that we talked about and to do a hands-on activity that I'm pretty sure is really fun and they quite enjoy. So thanks for listening today, and I hope that you can use your rocket launcher one day.